Hi. Yeah, I really like the professor. It's a really great guest. It's really awesome that you had him on.
Oh,
And
thank
I like the professor. I sometimes call myself a left libertarian, and I want to be clear that I make fun of the libertarians as much as you do with my club of libertarians at my very liberal university.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. So I wanted to point out that basic income is really awesome because it's a really left libertarian sort of philosophical ideal because it reduces the government overhead, it increases liberty, it improves quality of life, it improves equality, and so it's a thing that I think that you could easily get even some of the really estranged American libertarians behind.
Yeah, I mean, again, my problem is in practice, I don't think it works out that way. I mean, let's just assume for the moment that the cost of it, which, I mean, let's say we're talking about $20,000 per person, right? And we have 300 million. I mean, we're talking about $1.5 trillion. I don't know what the number would be. If it would be 25,000 or whatever it was, we're talking a lot of money, which politically may be problematic. But then I do think you run into all these other problems. And, I didn't check out the professor's work on the costs, on the administrative costs. But I also think the way that you knock down some of those costs is to simply apply some of these notions. Like, we're not going to be so demanding about, you're not going to have to come with all these different pieces of evidence. I mean, I think there's a way to do it. I'm not sure what that is, but I think one step to that is okay, we're going to take health insurance off the table by having a single payer health insurance program. Right? I mean, because that's a big expense. We do that for everybody. And then I think maybe you also say, we're going to provide health care. We're going to provide daycare. We're going to provide all these other elements. And then I don't know. I mean, I like the idea in principle. It just seems to me to be impractical. And I'm not sure what the opportunity cost is in terms of advocating for something that I think is not doable in practice, where there are reforms to what we have, and I guess reverses of reforms.
Oh yeah,
that may achieve
I
that.
Absolutely understand.
But
I definitely see where you're coming from there. I think one of the interesting things about something like universal basic income, I mean, obviously you have concerns about implementation details, and there's some really great papers on some of the universal basic income sites that talk about how the costs are added up. And I remember reading a paper about how we would end up actually paying slightly less in taxes than we do now, depending on what welfare systems you decide to cut. So things like food stamps are a great example of a welfare system that would be cut as an example. It's one of those systems that all the time people talk about at like grocery stores about how it always feels like you're being demeaned to, and that I know cashiers, right, and they always make fun of the people with the food stamps, and that sort of interaction is just not very useful.
No, I agree with that. I mean, I like that. I like that aspect of it. The idea that we're not going to be so that we're not going to, poor shame people essentially. And I'm just not convinced that there aren't other ways of achieving that. But maybe you need to sell one thing to get another in terms of the political process. I'm not sure, but it's something I'm gonna, we'll look at more as time goes on, and I imagine it'll come back up when the Swiss have this vote.
I have one really great benefit for you that I'd really like to push about this, and that's the fact that I'm a programmer by trade, I guess. So we have a lot more automation that's coming up, and there's something like, for example, automated cars. There's 3 million. It's the biggest industry. It's the biggest job market in this country. There are 3 million transportation jobs in this country, and with automated cars, we're going to start losing a lot of those jobs. And there's no way that you can put, and I mean, just 3 million jobs in directly transportation. That's not to talk about all the side jobs and jobs that are actually transportation but not actually listed as transportation. It's something like 17 million jobs could be replaced by automated cars and generalized automation, just right off the bat, and you're not going to be able to put that many people through college and retraining before their like unemployment benefits end.
Right.
It's a modern problem that really something like universal basic income is one of those solutions that could actually work for it.
Right. I agree. I mean, off the top of my head, another solution to that is is work share. You know, like they do in Germany, where the government basically says to employers, you've got 10 employees, halve the amount of time that they work, and we will actually pay the difference in their income. So, you know, instead of unemployment insurance, you don't need that anymore, because when people get thrown out, we're going to basically pay you to double your workforce, essentially. There's a lot of different solutions to these problems, but your point's well taken. I appreciate the call, Mason.